So I wish I would have known a little bit more about how eXp Realty worked before I made the move to close down my brokerage and jump in and partner with eXp Realty. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that I wish I would have realized sooner and that I could have taken advantage of even more over this past year. I'm Phil Duke Jr. This is my channel here, The Listing Lifestyle. It's all about just taking one listing a week and having a life outside of real estate, right? And really that was one of the big reasons why I made the move from owning my own brokerage with 10 locations in 6 states, 160 plus agents, to partnering with eXp Realty. I've been there a little over a year now, a year and 2 or 3 months, something like that. And I wrote down 5 things here that have been huge improvements compared to what I was doing before. And there's nothing wrong with running your own brokerage. Absolutely nothing wrong at all. I did it for a number of years, was successful at it, but I kind of wish I would have made this move sooner now that I have experienced what life looks like on this side of things. So number one is lower overhead, right? People always make the joke when you're a broker and you're running your own brokerage, that the first 5 letters of broker is broke, right? And it can be easy to go broke, right? You've got agents whose sales are up and down, right? It's never just super steady, right? It's up and down. There's good months, there's bad months, there's good times of year, there's bad times of year. You've got to keep systems in place, right? You got to keep your QuickBooks open no matter how slow of a month it is. You got to keep staff hired and keep them paid even during the slow months of the year. And so it really becomes a big task of just managing finances and making sure on your big months that you putting some money aside to cover the slow months. And with a team of 160 something agents, it was very common for us to have 75 to 100 closings a month. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of reviewing files and making sure agents are paid and making sure that we've been paid, before we can pay the agents out, and making sure that everything is in compliance, and making sure people get their 1099s, and making sure everybody has, a website and a CRM that works and an email that works, and just, all those different things. And some of those can actually become profit centers for you when you're running a brokerage. For example, our tech stack that we offered to our agents when it was my own brokerage cost me about $50 a month. I think it was $49 a month actually, for them to get an email, a contract to close system, and a CRM, which came with a website. Bold Trail, KV Core, Lofty, any of those like that. We negotiated a really good deal, and so we would charge our agents $99 a month for something that cost us $49 a month, right? So we actually made $50 per month per agent, even if nobody sold anything. And you can, $50 a month times 160 people. That's a substantial amount of money every month just on technology fees, right? But then, there's staff that you have to keep on board, and it's not just the actual money expense, it's the time expense, which nobody talks about. Right. So, at the end of the month, if you've got a month with 100 closings, the last 4 or 5 days of the month was absolutely brutal. Getting my own deals closed and making sure our agents are getting their deals closed, everybody's getting paid, that all the money is accounted for, and then having to go back through and make sure everything's adding up on the profit and loss statement, and all those kind of things. You're running very thin margins as a real estate broker owner, normally 6%, 8%, 10% profit margins. So, for every $100 that comes in, normally 90 or 92 or $94 out of that 100 is going out to other people and other things, right? The agents are getting 50% or 70% or 80% or 90%. They're getting most of the money, and you're running all the expenses on your little small bit, right? And so making the move over to to eXp Realty. I don't have a QuickBooks account anymore. I don't touch that anymore. I don't handle any of the tech fees. I don't, deal with any of that. I don't personally have any staff here, right? And so the beauty of this model was that we were able to make the move over, and now we've got access to like 2,500 staff that works for eXp Corporate. Everything from marketing to compliance to trainings all during the week to coaching programs and people to make sure our agents are getting plugged into everything, and transaction coordinators. All that stuff was there ready to go for us to plug into, and we didn't pay a dime for that until we have closings, right? We have closings, 80-20 split, 80% goes to the agent, 10% goes to eXp Corporate, 10% gets paid out through revenue share, right? So we're able to have a massive corporate team on standby to do those commission payouts and to onboard agents and to review files. I mean, it's very common that that our agents upload a file or upload a document, a contract, a buyer agency agreement into SkySlope, and within 15 minutes, somebody from eXp Corporate has reviewed that and given them the green light if it's good, or given them feedback of what they need to fix. And that's happening without us having to, cut a check to those people every single month, right? So it allowed me to tremendously lower my overhead. I have a $85 per month tech fee. My agents pay the same thing. We all pay the same amount. I have a virtual assistant that works for me for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. It costs me $305 a month to have somebody doing some admin stuff for me. I have a Zoom account, and I do have an office right now, which I'm going to talk about next. But it allowed us to tremendously decrease our overhead. Those fixed things that, whether you have a big month or a small month, that you're having to pay for as a broker owner, those fees went away. I'm no longer on the hook for those fees. Somebody, eXp handles that for us. They hire people, they fire people, they supervise people, all that kind of stuff. I don't have to deal with it, and I'm not having to stroke a check every single month. It just comes out on closing day, right? Which brings me to number two. I am in an office right now. I only have a few more days left of this office. When we made the move over, we had a big team, and this office here and this location was our biggest one with the most agents. And we were used to having like Monday morning mastermind meetings where we would ask all the agents that could to come to the office and let's mastermind on something. Let's let somebody share, and we still did that for a little while after we made the move. It was kind of like that Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. Like, I'm not really sure what to do with my hands. Like, I'm not really sure what to do with this office space. And what I mean by that is that before, it was very one size fits all. If you join our team, here's what our onboarding system looks like. Here's what our coaching programs look like. Here's what our training calendar looks like. And whether you're a new agent or you're a moderately successful or a highly successful agent, it was one size fits all. And with the move to eXp, with our agents now having access to multiple coaching programs, right? We've got people who are going high level into AI and building, AI bots through Claude that are doing things for them, all the way through people to beginners just, learning how to do contracts. There is a program for everybody. We have a great program at eXp Realty called FastCap that is designed in a 6-week period to get anybody, no matter where they're at in the business, brand new or they're struggling, within 6 weeks to hop on 3 sessions per week through a Zoom call and get some coaching, learn how to work leads. And the average agent that finishes that 6-week program finishes the 6th week with having 2 or 3 clients under contract, either listings or buyer agency agreements signed. So we went from one size fits all. I've got a big training room back here that can hold 40 or 50 people, and we've kept doing that a little bit, but we've kind of enjoyed. I have enjoyed the fact that my agents are all in different programs that meet at different times of the day, and everybody can kind of find their little circle, right? I go to a church that does a lot of small groups. I do a men's small group. And before I went to a men's small group, I tried out several groups to try to find one that fit me, that fit for where I was at in my season of life. And with this new eXp Realty virtual model, we don't have to go to a conference. We don't have to pay out of pocket to be in a high level coaching program, whether it's a 6 week thing or a 6 month thing or just a continuous week to week thing. We've got people going heavy into YouTube. We've got people going all in on social media, on Pinterest and LinkedIn and TikTok and whatever it is that they want to do. We've got a program for them. And so, coming together for an extra meeting on top of what we're already doing throughout the week just really doesn't make sense. And so I found myself, and most of my agents have found themselves just honestly enjoying working from home. I can cook, cleaner meals. I can get, a little bit of laundry done. I do all the laundry at my house, so I can throw a load of laundry in before my next Zoom call, or while I'm prospecting, or while I'm editing videos for this channel. I can pick up the kids. I can let the dogs out. And honestly, this office here is an expense that is just no longer needed. Now, are there benefits to having a brick and mortar office, a physical location? You better believe it. But for what we're experiencing, the way that we're running ours right now, where all of our agents are independent agents, we are no longer running as a team. All of our agents are independent agents on an 80-20 split, and they all can pick and choose which programs and which coaching calls they want to hop in, what program they want to be a part of, what community they want to be in. And you can't be part of all of them. It would be crazy. There's over like 80 hours a week of live and recorded training inside eXp University. And so what we are really good at is when agents, still today join our team, is we get them plugged in to a program, try it out, and then, hey, let's check in from time to time and see how that's going. Is there something else here? And then as I'm talking to the agents that made the move with us, I like to hear what they're working on and what they're getting value from. And man, like I might need to hop into that one next. Like when I finish this program, maybe that's where I need to go next. So no office needed. Office optional, right? We don't have a secretary here. We don't have somebody paying out agents' commission checks. We don't have somebody here reviewing files. We don't have somebody here giving office tours and making sure they can do it. It's all done virtually. So the office is no longer really needed, and it's an expense I'm going to be able to put elsewhere. Number three, it's every business has marketing, sales, operations, and admin. Those are kind of the four pillars of every single business out there, right? And if you're not having enough sales, it's normally not a sales problem; it's a marketing problem. From my experience, if you're not hitting your sales goals, if you're not hitting your recruiting goals as a team leader or a broker owner, you've got a marketing problem. And if you're watching this video and you're already running a brokerage or you're thinking about running a brokerage, you probably got to that point in your career because you understand and you are very competent in sales and marketing. And not to say that you can't figure out operations and admin. I certainly have. I've spoke on stages about it. I wrote a book that's on Amazon about how I built that and how I got out of production and just went from being a top producing agent to just kind of being a coach and a mentor to the group of agents that I was leading. But the operations side of things slows you down, and I would highly suggest you consider jumping into that role. At least think about it very deeply, right? I know a ton of people that they're a top producing agent and they run a brokerage. And if we could peel back the layers of their business, you would see that the vast majority of their actual profit comes from their own personal production, not from the 70-30 split or the 80-20 split or the 50-50 split that they have with their agents, right? Now, not to say that they can't do great, right? But the people that seem to be really crushing it right now are people that became successful on the sales and marketing side as producers, and then they've got somebody else kind of running the team. And that's the model that we basically do here. So I've got a very small micro team now, just me and one assistant and two showing agents that go and do showings. I do listings, and everybody else that's part of our team, our team are just independent agents at eXp, right? I'm not their broker. I'm not reviewing their file. I don't even have access to their files to review their paperwork. I don't press the button to pay them their commission. It's just handled through eXp. So I kind of put on blinders, right? Like, think about it like a horse. They put the blinders on the horse so they can only see their little lane where they keep going forward. eXp allowed me to totally get out of operations and admin. In January, I didn't have to send 1099s. All right, I'm not having to review a P&L of a real estate brokerage to see, how well we did for the month. What was our profit for the month? It's so much easier today. And one of the things that you'll experience as well running a brokerage, at least I did, was it kind of felt like that arcade game where you're like, you've got the little mallet and you're hitting the little alligators that come out. The alligators come out on the thing, and you hit this alligator and you hit this alligator, whack-a-mole or whatever, that comes up, the little mole looking thing. That's kind of how operations and admin felt for me as a broker. Like, no matter how good our systems were, every day, every week, every month, it was a new problem. Like, I would hit that problem, and then a new one would come up over here, and then a new one would come up over here, and then a new one would come up over here. And it just felt like I was constantly fixing problems, constantly dealing with issues that was taking up time and energy, and it just didn't feel like that's the way I wanted to spend the rest of my real estate and business career. I would rather let somebody else handle those. And the good thing about eXp is that those problems still happen, but somebody else is dealing with it. It's not me, right? Somebody else's problem. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to fix it. Number 4, production. My production has gone way up, which I'll share a little bit more about that on number 5. But I will tell you too, whatever your per agent production is right now, if you've got 3 agents, or you've got 5 agents, or you've got 25 agents, or you've got 125 agents. If you looked at how many agents you have and then how many closings per month you're having on average, I would imagine you're pretty close to the industry average nationwide, probably around 6 closings per year per agent. All right, some are going to crush it. They're going to sell 40, 50, 60, 80 houses. Some are going to come to your trainings week in and week out and not sell anything, not take a listing, not take a buyer agency agreement. That is going to happen no matter what company you're partnered with, whether you're running your own company, whether you're running a team, whether you're with eXp, whether you've got multiple locations, across multiple states. Agents are going to do what agents are going to do. You can't affect somebody who's not motivated. So I would recommend to you, if that's a problem that you are experiencing, don't worry so much about that, right? If the average agent closes 6 deals per year and you want your team to close 300 deals a year, well, now you know how many agents you need to have. 300 divided by 6. It's very simple math, right? So that's how you solve that problem. You don't solve it by fixing your onboarding. You don't solve it by giving better leads. You don't solve it by spending more money. You don't solve that problem by having a better social event for your top producer club every month. The numbers are what the numbers are. And so I would just suggest to you that you get really honest with yourself and stop spinning your wheels and trying to fix your onboarding program or your lead program or your coaching program that you're offering to your agents, and you just fix the recruiting problem. And the great thing about eXp Realty is that we have continued to grow our team, and it's easier to grow our team because we're not the ones fulfilling everything that they have to offer. It's more like, here's what we already have going on, and when you come join in with us and you partner with us, this is what you get access to. And a lot of it is not stuff that I provide, right? You get this coaching program, You get this coaching program, you get this coaching program, you get access to this. Every state has their own state broker room. We even have other countries that have brokers available all throughout the day on call to answer any questions that you and your agents might have. And it's easy because it doesn't take up that much of your time. Honestly, I've probably made more money at times in my career as a broker owner, but I've never had the kind of quality of life that I do right now, because when there's problems, I don't even have access to fix most of the problems. So the agents have just kind of learned, hey, this is where you go to for that. When agents do call me, and they still do, and I want them to. If agents ever stop calling you, by the way, it means they don't trust you anymore. But my agents still call me from time to time, and my job today is just to educate them on where to go to get that problem fixed. Hey, you need to go talk to so and so. You need to go to the Alabama broker room and talk to one of the brokers in there, or you need to check out this recorded training that I was on last week, and that'll answer everything and show you how to do it, right? So production for us is the same per agent productivity that we've always had. It's there might be a month where it's a little bit higher or lower, but on average, it's been the same for us. So no real change there, and I didn't expect there to be a change. And then number 5, the biggest change that I've seen for me personally is what I call the cash offer listing system. So I didn't know that eXp had this when I joined. In fact, most people that are licensed at eXp don't know this exists, but eXp Realty has this investor portal where I can put in any address, any property across the country. I can upload the photos. I can take the photos off of Zillow if it's a for sale by owner, or take photos off the MLS if it's an expired listing, and I put it into that system. And eXp Realty has a group of investors. I'm talking big institutional investors that are looking to buy hundreds of houses a month nationwide. I put the property in, I upload the photos, I request the cash offers, and normally within a couple hours, at worst within a day or so, I'm getting multiple cash offers on these properties. And so what it's allowed me and my little micro team to do is, when we call a for sale by owner, instead of trying to get them to list their house with us, we're starting the conversation off with, hey, I just want to let you know, a few days ago I put your property into this portal, I requested some cash offers, and I've got 3 cash offers that I want to get in front of you so that you can take a look at them, and I'm here to answer any questions you have and explain what the next steps would be and all that kind of stuff. And most of the time, the sellers don't go with the cash offer, but it allows us to have a conversation with a seller. It allows us to give advice to a seller like they are our client before they become our client, before they sign anything. And at the end of that conversation, we're able to pivot that conversation to a traditional listing. Hey, we've got these cash offers in hand. They're not going anywhere. Why don't we just try putting your house on the market for 10 days, 2 weeks, 30 days, and let's see what kind of response we get on the open market. Let's see if we can beat the offers that we already have. If not, we've already got some cash offers in hand, and you win either way. They compensate you very well. These investor groups do. It's normally a 4% commission for everyone that does get worked out through the investors. But if not, put it on the MLS, take your 3% commission, get it closed, move on to the next one. And most people at eXp don't even know that this thing exists. And so it's something that I jumped into 100%. I was already kind of going that way. I was making more money on flips and rentals and wholesaling than I was on my real estate team with a whole lot less work. And so I wanted to do more of that, and I found this system that eXp Realty has. And if you're interested in seeing how that works and how you could use that system as well, I put a link below to a recorded masterclass that shows you can see how the portal works. You can actually try it out for yourself and see what kind of cash offers it will generate for one of your listings, or for your house, or for a house that you've been trying to get a listing from, or an expired listing in your area. You can actually test the system on that masterclass, see how the thing works, and if it's something that you want to work together on, there's some next steps in there of how we could work together to help you get that thing implemented in your area. So a little over a year of being at eXp Realty, it's been the best move I've ever made in my career. I wish I would have understood it sooner. I wish that I would have seen it for what it was and not just as a recruiting company or a multi-level marketing company, but truly as a platform that allows me and my team and my agents to do deals, to run our real estate businesses while being mostly hands off on the operations and the admin side. So if I can help you anyway, let me know. My calendar link's below. You can schedule a call with me one-on-one if you'd like to talk about possibly making a move over to eXp Realty. It's a big decision. There's a lot that goes into it. Don't take it lightly. Make sure you're informed, and that's what it's been like in my first year plus at eXp Realty.